In 2020, my siblings and I combined our stimulus checks and bought a car.
Yeah, but that's just the tip of the iceberg.
The Treppers own, manage, and maintain 20 plus doors. Given the game by our dad, he taught us generational knowledge creates generational wealth.
Learn with us the do's and don'ts of real estate and property management.
You've been to the Bando. Now, let us introduce you to the Trep.
Welcome to season 2 of Trep Out the Bando.
Good morning, beautiful people. It is another beautiful day in the new neighborhood, and today is going to be a busy day. We got different contractors coming by the house. We're starting off with the roofers, and then we're going to have a surveyor come by, and we're also getting estimates for floors. So I'm going to have a pretty busy day today, and it's early in the morning, but you know who beat me out here? The roofing company. They are already out here getting busy, and it feels good to see that things are already beginning to take shape. So the wife is at work, but I'm gonna be here helping each contractor get their job done today as best that I can. Trying to stay out the way, but y'all know me, man. I can't just sit back and not put in a helping hand. I think the surveyor is here, so I'm gonna go and try to meet with him and find out what services he's about to be rendering for today. He already found one of the stakes, and now they have made their way all the way to the back of the house, and they're like deep in the woods. So this is the area I really need to see what's going on. And we've got the roofers on the top getting it in. So it's a productive and eventful day right now. Let's take a look at the back. Woo! All of that debris, all of those shingles. Where in the world are they? Oh, I see them. Okay. I was gonna bring some loppers out here if y'all needed them, but y'all just blazed your own path.
Yeah, we'll get it all put out here.
So they're all the way out here in the woods. You can see the tape that they ran. I'm just gonna let them work for now. We already are further out than I thought. So it's really cool. This property is gonna prove to be larger than I expected, but that's cool.
That joker is deep right there.
Yeah. So is this yellow device
Metal detector.
they blazed a path back here with little to no difficulty. So it looks like our first boundary is further from the house than we expected, which I guess is a good thing because that means our lot is larger. Let's see if you can find the surveyors wearing their camouflage behind me in the woods. At any rate, they found one of the stakes already for the backyard. I'm assuming there's probably only 2 in the back and 2 in the front, but there could be more depending on how the lines of the property were drawn. I'm interested to see just how much space we receive out of our backyard. Of course, you guys know I love to be out in the woods, so to see how much more land we have in our front boundary has me a little excited. I can't wait to see a physical representation of the property lines. Boundary number 2. I've never been this deep in my backyard, so of course this is fun to know exactly where the stake is. And I love that they tied a high visibility area and tethered it to the actual stake. So that's great. This stake clearly was not buried very deep at all. And I wish I could draw a direct line to the other stake, but I think that there are oh, I can kind of see it. Can you see it? It's right there. That's the other stake. Well, that's one of the other stakes. We'll have to find the third. But, okay, so in that case, here's about my backyard boundary. That's not bad. Once we clear this little piece out, my only concern is I want to maintain some privacy from the neighbors' fences. But let's see if we went, oh, I see some thorns that way. Anyway, let's catch back up with the surveyors and see where it appears our front boundary is going to be. This definitely opens up the yard a lot. The trick is to understand that, as you can see, there's a lot of brush back here. Well, not even brush, but just trees and everything. And it impedes on the acreage of your property. And it's kind of good to have clear lines of where your property stops, because most of the time your property line is somewhere deep back in this stuff. And if you're willing to cut down the trees and open it up and regain usage of that acreage, you've increased the value of your property. So we're going to be doing just that. Because not only do I want some kind of grass, I also want potentially a shed or some other small outbuilding or structure to be back here. So let's catch up with the surveyors and see if they found, yep, looks like they found it without any real delay. But I do believe that they're going to also, so that's our last stake right here. Yeah, y'all didn't know that grandma's old couch cushions could keep you safe on top of a roof, did you? Nah, putting y'all on to something. I need to head back to the car because watching those men work has built up my appetite. Delicious. Oh yeah, don't play with it. They cooking up something that smells really good over here too. We got Cole here. He was one of our surveyors today, and essentially he's just gonna give us a little rundown of the process of how they staked out my property, found the boundaries, and what some of those cool little gadgets were that we saw while they were working.
So essentially, good, how are you? Essentially, there's a bunch of different types of surveys. You got two of the most simplest done today, which is the boundary survey, where we're making the plat of it, where we located the house, the driveway, the sidewalk, the road, all that kind of stuff, and then also the staking. But every survey, property corners are essential. So you have to find every single property corner. So we were able to look up old plats, the subdivision plat and all that kind of stuff, where it has all the lots on it. And it has the right-of-way of the road, which is where you have a 50-foot right-of-way. So from the center of the road out there, it's 25 feet one way and 25 feet the other way. The county owns.
Interesting.
So we pulled the 25 out, and we had the yellow wand. It's called a metal detector, and has different modes and settings to where you can have it up to where you can scan it very quickly and try and find something, and then you push it down once you find it to pinpoint exactly where the metal
Oh,
is
okay.
on the ground.
See, I was used to seeing the metal detectors like the old school ones with the like plate at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That's
So
why
that's
I wasn't
he
sure what that
he
was.
putting it up and down and pushing the modes down to try and pinpoint it, so we weren't just digging, you know,
Big.
for 10 feet.
Oh, okay.
So-
Yeah.
And we were able to find 2 front ones pulling the 25 out, and then we were able to measure down, and us kind of know what we're doing. The ridges we could use as kind of a guesstimate of where the property line is. We use wood lines and fence lines, all that kind of stuff, kind of to guesstimate where we're measuring, so we're not measuring blind. And when we finally got back there, we were about 5 feet from where that property corner actually was. So when we got back there, we cleaned up around it. He started waving his wand until we heard it ding, and then we found the pin and we flagged it as well back there, and then we measured down and found the other one as well. And then after that's done, we were able to get out the total station, which is a construction laser.
Okay.
And so what that was is pretty much it shoots a laser, and the pole I was holding had the prism on it, which reflects, the laser shoots to the prism and then reflects back to the instrument. And then he has this little what we call the data collector, kind of looks like a calculator,
Yeah.
that he had plugged into it.
Yeah.
And the instrument sends that information to the data collector, the angles and the points and the distances and all that. So that's how we could tell from pin to pin each way that these pins are yours. Because
Understood.
we could easily, your pin could be a foot off. That's happened plenty of times before. And they either have to be reset, or there's information that we haven't found from a long time ago that says, hey, this was moved a foot over, or so and so like that.
Understood. So
So there's
basically, you're measuring to cross-reference with pre-existing information.
And say
Okay.
we didn't find one of yours, we would have to go down 2 or 3 lots to find other property corners to tie back in to make sure that your property corner is in the exact spot that it needs to be.
So in other words, that's like a process of like triangulation. So if you can't find mine, you find others that are in proximity and measure from them to get to mine. Interesting. Okay.
So it's very precise. So surveyors use tenths, not inches. So a tenth is, so you have a foot, which is 12 inches, but we break it down into tenths, which is 10.
1.2.
Correct. So like if it, like I believe one of these lines was 156.4, it'd be 4 tenths. So it'd be roughly about 5, maybe 5.5 inches,
Yeah.
because we use points instead of inches. Because if you use inches, then once you get to 0.9, you can't
Yeah.
go up to 10 or 11.
Right.
So, but that's
Okay.
how we do it. And so when he reflects the prism back, we had to set up on traverse nails. I have one in my pocket. This is where the instrument sits. It's just a nail with flag tape through it. And the instrument, you could see down through it if you look through the instrument when you're setting it up. The instrument has to be completely level on the tripod. And it shoots down, and this is where the instrument sits, and this is how it gets the points to
I was
reflect
wondering
back.
if he was just roughly placing that over the stake just to give it. So these guys are accurate to the degree of tenths of a foot, which is essentially 1 inch.
And we even go to the thousandths as well. So the
Wow.
tens, hundreds, and thousandths.
Wow, that's amazing to be able to do that on such large pieces of land. Now, granted, my lot is maybe 0.28 acres, but you guys could execute something to this degree of accuracy on
We've
what?
done 200 acres before. So
Gee whiz, 200 acres.
everything is just as accurate as it is here.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yes,
Well, now there was another thing. I noticed that he would place the measurement tool, the laser, directly over one of the stakes, and then you would walk and kind of position yourself left and right to, I'm assuming, make sure that the overall line from the front stake to the back stake
Correct.
is as straight
So-
as it can be.
The pole I was holding with a prism on it has a bubble on it as well for the level. And every shot that we take has to be 100% level for the measurement to be precise.
Okay.
So if I'm holding the pole sideways, I could have the end of the pole down on the pin or on the shot that we're taking, but the measurement wouldn't be from up to over here
Understood.
because it's not level. So that's why I have to have that bubble level at all times when we're doing shots. So when he lined up from using his data collector to turn, so also backsides are a big thing as well. So if he was to sit on that pin, stake this line, he backsided that pin. Well, we actually did it with that pin. He sat on that pin, backsided this pin,
Okay.
and turned his angles from the data collector.
Oh, okay,
We double
okay.
checked with taking the shot on the pin to make sure everything was precise. But when we do that, it makes sure everything stays consistent and stays right.
Yeah.
Because there can be, you know, 1 degree
Variations.
of an angle can be, by the time you get back there, it could be 3 or 4 feet over.
Understood.
So everything has to be precise. And so when I was walking along, I had to have the bubble level on the pole with the prism and walked to where I was straight in line with him and the other pin. And that's where we put the stake.
Understood. So that ensures that my boundaries stay consistent from the front stakes all the way to the back stakes as well. So these guys take a very precise method to make sure and ensure that things are accurate. Because see, now I can go to my neighbors and say, hey, this is actually my property.
Yes, sir.
So, but I appreciate you. Thank you for your
Yes, sir.
time.
And a
You
fun
guys
fact, Abraham Lincoln was one of the first surveyors in this country.
wow, I did not know that.
Yes, sir.
I did not know that. So guys, I have another contractor calling me right now. This has been Cole with
Nice
Jeff
to meet
and
y'all.
Kuhn Surveying,
Yes, sir. Burton and Associates.
Burton and Associates Surveying. We appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
So guys, it's clearly warmed up a bit. I'm about to go get me something to eat because the apple isn't gonna hold me over much longer. And the crew has their kitchen set up outside. She's making, it looks like she's grilling some fajitas. So they're about to grub and I can't miss out. So I'm gonna go grab me something to eat as well. And I'll be back shortly to check on their progress. By then, considering we just saw them loading shingles onto the roof, I'm expected to see some shingles already laid. And by the time I got back, look how much progress they made. And to be honest, I was gone for longer than expected, but still, to come back and see this amount of progress was dope. And here's the finished product. We opted for architectural shingles. I love the deep black color and the thickness of this product. Now that we know the boundaries of our property, it's time to get in the backyard and cut down some trees. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see y'all in the next video.